Right now, two of the world's most heated flashpoints are simmering in East Asia. One, an island that's basically the lifeblood of our modern gadgets thanks to its cutting edge microchips. The other, a stretch of water so critical that losing control of it could send the global economy into a tailspin. But here's the deal. This isn't just about land or water. These are full-blown arenas where the two biggest powerhouses on the planet, the US and China, are flexing their muscles. Every move one side makes, the other takes it as a challenge. And here's where it gets even scarier. This isn't some far-off geopolitical drama. It's creeping closer to home. It's not just about politics, it's about real-world consequences that could hit all of us. How did it get this bad? And why should you care, even if you're halfway across the globe? My name is Shyam, and let's unravel this thread. To understand why East Asia has become such a hotspot, let's take a look at Taiwan's role in this complex story. From China's point of view, Taiwan isn't just an island, it's unfinished business. They see it as a breakaway province that's been out of their grasp since the Chinese Civil War ended in 1949. President Xi Jinping has made it pretty clear that he wants Taiwan back, even hinting he would use force if necessary. But here's the thing. Taiwan may be small, but it's a tech titan. The Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, produces 90% of world's most advanced semiconductors, essential for everything from phones to military gear. If China controls Taiwan, they would dominate the global tech supply chain, reshaping global security. The US has a complicated relationship with Taiwan. While it doesn't officially recognize Taiwan's independence, it supports its right to self-defense under a strategy called strategic ambiguity. It's a diplomatic tightrope that keeps both sides guessing. And recently, the US has been dropping hints that they are stepping up for Taiwan. Even President Biden said they would intervene if Taiwan were attacked. That definitely didn't sit well with Beijing. Then there is the Taiwan Strait, the narrow stretch of water between Taiwan and China. It's a hotspot for military drills, close calls, and a whole lot of tension. It's easily one of the most dangerous flashpoints in the world right now. So why should you care? Because a conflict over Taiwan wouldn't just be a fight over an island. This isn't just about land or politics. It's about the ripple effects that could touch every corner of the world. Taiwan might be small, but it's holding a key role in a story that could define this century. But Taiwan isn't the only flashpoint in East Asia. Just south lies the South China Sea, a critical region where the risks are just as high. On a map, it might just look like another big patch of blue. But trust me, this place is like high-stakes poker table where everyone's trying to win big. China has laid claim to nearly 90% of it with something they call the 9-dash line. Sounds official, right? Well, it's not. It's basically China pointing to a map and saying, "This is ours." And as you can guess, other countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia aren't thrilled. Imagine if your neighbor suddenly fenced off your backyard and declared it's a part of their property. Yeah, it's that kind of a deal. So why does everyone care so much about this patch of ocean? For starters, it's a global trade superhighway. Around $3.4 trillion worth of goods move through here every year. That's everything from your smartphones to your sneakers. Plus, the South China Sea is swimming in resources. Tons of oil, natural gas, and more fish than you could count. Controlling this region isn't just about bragging rights, it's about serious economic power. But China isn't stopping at claim on paper. They have gone full DIY and started building islands from scratch. And we are not talking cute little sandbars with palm trees. No, these islands are decked out with military bases, airstrips, missile systems, and radar stations. This has turned the South China Sea into a geopolitical tinderbox. And guess what? The US isn't exactly sitting on the sidelines. To push back against China's claim, the US has been running freedom of navigation missions, basically sailing their ships through the area and saying, you can't just take over international waterway. It's like two kids squabbling over a swing. But the swing is a multi-trillion-dollar trade route, and the kids are armed to teeth with advanced military tech. And here's the nerve-wracking part. One misstep between US and Chinese forces could escalate into something way bigger. The South China Sea isn't just about water, it's about power, money, and global stability. When things heat up here, we all feel the burn. By the way, if you're finding this breakdown insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this thread. It helps us continue exploring global stories like this and keeps you informed on the world's most pressing issues. Let's talk about the risks of miscalculation in these high-tension areas because honestly, it's like a game of chicken but with fighter jets and warships. One wrong move and things could spiral from tense to catastrophic in the blink of an eye. Here's a jaw-dropping example to set the stage. In 2023, a Chinese warship got within 150 yards of US destroyer in the Taiwan Strait. Let me break that down. That's less than 2 football fields. At those speeds, one tiny miscalculation could have turned into a disaster. And here's the deal. Close calls like this aren't rare. They are like near misses on a highway, except the drivers are military ships and the stakes are decades of political tension and military-grade firepower. This is where things get seriously dangerous. In such a heated environment, even the smallest incident could snowball into a full-blown crisis. Back in 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a murky naval skirmish, pulled the US into Vietnam War. Now imagine something like that happening today, but with modern weapons and two of the world's most powerful militaries involved. Yeah, terrifying doesn't even begin to cover it. And this goes way beyond territory. A conflict over Taiwan or South China Sea wouldn't just stay local. It would ripple across the globe. Think about Taiwan's semiconductor industry, which fuels the tech we use every day. If that production stopped, your smartphone, laptop, or even your car could suddenly become a lot harder to get and way more expensive. Then there's the South China Sea. A conflict there wouldn't just rattle regional economies, it would send shockwaves through the entire global economy. But the scariest part is the human cost. We are not just talking about soldiers on battlefields. Civilians would be caught in the chaos, communities would be destroyed, and millions could be displaced. It's a nightmare scenario that feels way too close for comfort. Here's the thing. The tension over Taiwan and South China Sea, it's not just Asia's problem, it's the world's problem. Let's start with Taiwan. If China were to take control, we would be looking at global tech meltdown. Why? Because Taiwan is basically the beating heart of the world's semiconductor industry. Taiwan's dominance, as we discussed earlier, is the backbone of global tech. No Taiwan, no chips. And without those chips, the tech industry would grind to a halt. Imagine trying to buy a new smartphone only to find it priced like a luxury car, or worse, completely unavailable. Now zoom out to the South China Sea. This trade artery, vital for global's economy, would face unprecedented disruption. If conflicts break out, shipping routes could be blocked, insurance costs would go through the roof, and supply chains would unravel faster than you can say economic crisis. And here's the deal. The South China Sea is loaded with resources. If China gains full control, they wouldn't just dominate the trade routes, they would also hold the keys to resources that many countries depend on. It would be like owning the world's pantry and charging everyone else just to grab a snack. But it's not just about money and resources. This goes deeper. It's about geopolitics. The US has been the world's go-to for keeping things stable. If China takes Taiwan or locks down South China Sea, it's not just a win for Beijing, it's a massive shift in global power. The US-led world order would take a hit, and that would shake things up everywhere. Think of it like a chess game. If one side suddenly gains a queen while the other loses a rook, the whole game changes. Allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia would start feeling the heat. Even countries in Europe and Africa would rethink their alliances. So there you have it, two major hotspots, the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. These aren't just distant conflicts, they're shaping the future of technology, the global economy, and even the balance of power in the world. But here's the thing. This isn't just about politicians or military strategists. It's about us, the gadgets we rely on, the prices we pay, and the peace we often take for granted could all be thrown into chaos if tensions spiral out of control. It's not just a question of if this matters. It's about how prepared we are for the ripple effects. And while the world watches these visible flashpoints, a quieter, more subtle conflict is underway. The hidden economic war between the US and China is quietly shifting industries, economies, and daily lives in ways many of us don't even notice. Could this invisible battle reshape the world more profoundly than the conflicts making the headlines? That's what we will uncover in the next video. At the end of the day, these global flashpoints remind us how connected we all are. Understanding these challenges is the first step towards creating a more stable and informed world. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this thread for more stories that connect the dots in our complex world. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.